A Light in the Darkness Chapter 48, Fan Fiction by Azazyel. With the Swarmlord dead, the rest of the Tyranids were picked off in short order. Not at all saying they didn't give their money's worth. No, the legions of bio-titans drowned the Nurgle Greater Demon in so much purifying corrosive bioplasma that the beast of pestilence's terrible diseases could find no foothold in the material world, as it was literally drowned in the burning plasma bolts, which brought low the lumbering Nurgle Demon. But even with 3 champions of chaos defeated and banished back to the warp to reform, the untold legions of demons tore through the Tyranids, matching ranged biological artillery with arcane spells from Tzeentch, while the agile and terrible fast servants of She Who Thirsts systemically began the process of assassinating every Hive Tyrant upon the planet, though at great loss to the dancing warriors. While the demons of Khorne and Nurgle busied themselves doing what they did best. They smashed with pure ferocity in Khorne's case, or in Nurgle slowly through attrition and with their diseases born in every which way, ground down the Tyranids of any size. As even a large and mighty bio-titan unguided by the Hive Tyrant that devoured a single Nurgle plague-bearer would inevitably fall screeching to the ground in agony as the rot within their bodies broke any biological protection they had against Nurgle's concocted diseases. Though beyond the valor of great combat, I saw a sadness within the battles, especially on Nurgle's side, as I watched a large contingent of beasts of Nurgle dashing themselves upon the Tyranids and began screeching in terrible agony as the vicious bugs tore apart the demons who only wanted to hug them and make friends. The beasts of Nurgle are the one demon that I refuse to sup upon within the 4 god-side forces. As they were created entirely out of the grandfather's kindness and literally didn't have a single mean bone in their body, no bloodlust or desire to harm anyone or anything. They merely had the brains and instincts of a mentally challenged dog that just wanted to be loved. But their loving hugs can even kill space marines in their power armor, to say nothing of a poor normal human, and most importantly, the insane number of diseases and filth the demons carry that would inevitably kill any mortal that could somehow dodge its attention. Jake Barris. You look weaker than what my lord has suggested. A voice whispered to me, and from within a lumbering bio-titan burst out of its chest in an ironic fashion was the mask of Tzeentch, who twirled through the air as she kicked off the flying giblets that were shot out of her, bursting from the center of the bio-titan. I met the weakest greater demon of the 4 chaos gods with my own eyes as I took in her face that she molded to look exactly like Ellesmere. I have a question for Tzeentch demons, I announced, and the demon who was gently dancing in place as she was forever cursed to do so nodded as her head tilted to the side curiously, with her face that was covered with a copy of my woman's turned into a twisted smile. Oh, do tell. Is it a wonder of pleasures that Tzeentch's realm holds? Or is it wisdom for your great artistry and martial arts? I ignored her questions as I lightly pointed at her and then at the rest of the Tzeentch demons. How can you be demons of pleasure when you look so damned ugly? Not to mention every demon having a crab or clawed hand. Even you, who have 3 arms, have only one sort of mortal hand. How the hell do you give pleasure when your other 2 hands are literally crab chompers? I asked honestly and, more importantly, very loudly. In unison, demons of all 3 other demon gods broke into a chorus of demonic, insane laughter as the mask of Tzeentch, for the first time in countless millennia, stopped dancing and stared at me in dumbfounded silence. As many a space marine, brave mortal, normal human, and even her most hated servants of the clown god Segarak have spat in her face defiant to the end of their lives, even in the face of her soul-ensuring dance, forcing their bodies to dance until they fell to the ground dead in exhaustion. But I wasn't sneering at her, nor was I cursing her in the name of the Emperor. No, I literally asked the demon those questions out of pure curiosity, and that purity in the question stunned the demon. I was going to ensnare your mind, twisting your heart to prepare to fit my lord's desired form you shall take. But I am lost as to whether I should drown you in agony for your insult or tempt you with true pleasure until you can see the beauty within me, little mortal man. She mused as she danced erotically across the ground towards me. But I noticed something. With the fighting dying down, the demons were becoming sluggish along the ravines that once poured endless tides of demonic flesh were now dark pits with no movement in sight. The chaos gods that were fueling the warpways onto the planet must be pulling back their power. I thought, frowning as the mask of Tzeentch showed none of that lethargy as the demons finished slaughtering the wildly freeing free Tyranids that were no longer controlled by the hive mind due to the systematic assassinations of all the Hive Tyrants and all the Hive ships, cutting their losses to avoid any further loss of biomass against demons that they gained nothing from killing. I will not be a slave to any chaos entity, I said dryly as my saber flicked in her direction, sending an arcing sword intent that she front flipped over perfectly. Wordlessly, I stepped closer to the greater demon as I drained my chi to enhance my senses as much as I could so I could meet her dancing slashes as her no doubt poison crab claw arms that had some weird purple fluid being pumped out of pores upon the claws tried to break my limbs for her to capture me or something. Your dancing doesn't affect my mind. I snarled as I batted aside her slashing crab arm. Fighting the mask of Slaanesh on somewhat even footing didn't fill me with pride as I could feel how she was diminishing and slowing with each blow as her essence was forced to return to the warp of the immaterium. She was quite literally the weakest greater demon, period, as she had been branded a traitor by Slaanesh and had most of her essence stripped from her when she was punished. Thus, I felt no pride for meeting the demon in a dance of blades, and once her fleeting essence began to flag I engulfed the two of us in a massive pillar of yang flames that burnt her flesh so quickly she didn't have a chance to scream as my saber took off her head with her essence quickly fleeing from real space. All demons, in fact, I noticed were having their essence taken back to the warp far quicker than it should take, making me frown as I wondered what had brought this change. Was it the strain of so many demons in one place? I couldn't guess so. With a sigh, I just returned to the sect to recover my energy so that I could deal with the freely roaming Tyranids that weren't bound to the hive mind. Hell, it was possible I could finally have a reason now to bust out the beast-taming talismans I had in my head that I could make. Riding a bio-titan into battle would be cool to say the least, I muttered, smiling softly as though a bio-titan wasn't a mech, but hey, maybe I could trade some tame Tyranids with the Eldar or Tau for some mechs.